Hi everyone, welcome to TRA Table Talks. I'm Andy, and today we will be joined by TRA CEO and founder Craig Allen, who will discussing with us today about fair work regulations and how to fix offshoring. Hi Craig, how
Hey
are you
Andy,
today?
I'm good. How you going?
Doing fine.
Great.
So I've heard this fair work case regulations. What is it about, and what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so there's been a landmark fair work case in Australia to do with an offshore worker who was working as an independent contractor, and unfortunately that person lost their job. They were terminated, and they went to the Australian Fair Work Commission to try to, I guess, get compensation for what took place because they felt like they were unfairly dismissed.
So, how does this work with independent contractors, for example, like me?
Yeah, so what happens there is that a lot of Australian firms will employ directly into the Philippines, so they won't use a third-party offshoring company. And to be perfectly honest, despite all the ads that pop up on social media and other spots saying that you can hire directly into the Philippines, which you can, you run a very, very big risk that what took place and what happened to this law firm could happen to you, and that is that you will fall foul of the fair work laws.
And with that, of course, there's a lot of benefits for Filipinos and independent contractors, but what about the dangers of it?
Well, the dangers of it, I guess, from an Australian business, is that you, like I say, you can open yourself up to be sued exactly the same way that is taking place in the Fair Work situation. This lady's been able to get compensation at Australian rates. So even though she was paid Filipino rates, the Fair Work Commission pretty much said that she's entitled to Australian conditions, Australian rates. So they had some money to come up with to pay, I'm sure. So that's the danger for the Australian companies. So it's a big danger for them. And I think the other part of it too that is really disappointing is that by Australian companies paying independent contractors in the Philippines directly, they avoid them getting all their benefits that they're entitled to under the DOLI laws. So all the workplace laws in the Philippines pretty much get ignored, and I don't think that's fair for the Filipino worker. It's certainly very dangerous for the Australian companies. So if anybody in Australia is currently offshoring or thinking about offshoring, they've got to take this into account. It's a business risk, and it's a big business risk.
It's a big responsibility, I believe.
And if you're offshoring at the moment and you have a team of people and you're doing it directly, I think you really should be re-looking at your situation and looking to try and solve it. And the only solution is to use a third-party provider like TRA. By using us, we're in the Philippines, so therefore you take the risk out. So that's been made very clear not only in the workplace ruling that was handed down, but it's also been made very clear by other bodies as well that if you want to avoid these problems, you need to use a third-party provider. And there's lots of benefits of using a third-party provider, despite what is advertised in social media.
Yes, I believe so. And with that, I also believe that there are good boundaries with these kind of offshoring.
You mean with using a company?
Yes.
Or? Yeah. Well,
To be exact.
I think the best thing about using a company or a third-party provider here in the Philippines is that the Filipinos get what they should be entitled to. So, it's not slave labour, and that was referred to in the ruling. So, you need to make sure that your Filipino workers are getting what they're entitled to. They're getting all their benefits, and not only that,
They're all equally paid.
absolutely, but not only that, but also that the third-party provider, so like TRA is providing HR, computer stuff, etc., setting them up properly. This lady, I think, was pretty clearly an independent contractor because she thought she was, well, the Australian company thought he was an independent contractor.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, she's using all her own equipment, etc. So, if you deal with someone like TRA, that doesn't happen. We provide all that. We provide all the back-end support, the payroll, HR, everything. So, And one of the great things, our IT provider that we use is ISO certified for cybersecurity, which is always a concern. So,
Actually, that's a great point. Yep, I agree with you. And with that, what can you say about agencies that help offshore staff to get hired directly of EU or?
well, I do know from my research tells me there's been a couple of those that have closed in Australia because they're now outside the laws. They're now running the risk that if they find somebody for a company and they encourage them to hire directly, that they're probably not going to meet the workplace rules in Australia. So they run the risk of having exactly what's taken place here in this case happening again. And that's the same for any companies that have multiple Filipinos working for them at the moment directly. And I can tell you there's lots of them. So they really take a big risk.
Yep. And that's actually very interesting to hear about fair work regulations because, as we all know, there's a lot of going in with their independent contractors who wanted to be free from boundaries, free from those established rules with other offshoring companies as well. And with that, what's your advice to people who are still hiring directly?
Well, I think you need to assess the risk that you're taking. I mean, it's a big risk, and if you have multiple people working for you, you run the risk that if you upset one of them or you upset more than one of them, that you could end up in the Fair Work Commission, which is not ideal for any business. It's not a great place to be. And really, they need to reassess. They should approach a reputable third-party provider like TRA and come to someone like us and talk to us so we can solve the problem for you.
And to add, I think it's much more costly or expensive, right?
Well, it is more expensive to use a third-party provider, but if you weigh that up against the potential risks that you face,
It is much expensive.
if Fair Work get involved and you get assessed that the independent contractor is an employee, which is what took place, then that's going to be a very expensive process, especially if you have 3, 4, 5, 6 staff.
Yep. So I think that would be a great idea to choose TRA.
Oh, absolutely. And to be honest with you, if people are looking at the alternative now of saying independent contracting is a bit too risky for our business, which it is, hey, our door's open. We're very happy to chat and help.
So you've mentioned that TRA is happy to help. So what do you think you can help with the people?
Yeah, well, the first thing we can do for people that are independent contractors at the moment is just review the whole situation for them, number one. That's something that we would have to do. But in terms of the service that we can provide, so for people that have existing teams, obviously we need to analyse it, look at it and see how we can help.
Yep.
People that are thinking about offshoring, we believe we provide a fantastic solution. We provide flexibility, we provide a fantastic way to ascertain whether or not a candidate is good. We have our assessment system that we do. We do testing, we do skills testing, personality testing. We put them through a pretty rigorous process. It's a multiple interview process before they get to sit in front of a client. So that is, I believe, as detailed as it can get. We do not just send off thousands of resumes or 10 resumes or whatever. We try to make sure that if we give a client a resume or a person, we believe that person is going to get the job. We don't send things out just for the fun of it.
And I believe you have this requirement checklist, right, before you send it off to clients. Right?
Yeah. And then the other part of it is, once they've selected somebody and they've got someone that's successful, it's then what happens after that. So we have a very professional onboarding process that we go through. We make sure the staff are very well aware of what's going on. The clients get a fantastic detailed client handbook on how things happen in the Philippines, and it's a very detailed document. It's nothing small. It's very detailed.
So it's like a summarized playbook for them.
It is a summarised playbook, but it's quite big. So yeah, there's a lot of things in there with tips, etc. in it. And then once the person is onboarded, we've got the HR, we've got the payroll, etc., that takes place. So not only is that happen in the background and just happens automatically, but it's a great support. So from our perspective, there is no inflating of wages like some people seem to get into the marketplace and say that offshore providers inflate wages. I haven't seen that ever, so certainly we don't do that. whatever wage is agreed with the staff member is what you get
And
charged.
also, I believe you also have this transparency with your clients and with your,
Totally. Absolute.
which is
absolute.
really great.
Totally.
Yeah, we do. And I think the other thing too that we offer that is really, again, quite unique. We have regular engagements with the staff where the staff can get involved and win some money, etc., etc. We have a fantastic football tipping competition they get involved with. We run training through the especially in the middle of the year. We run a 2-day tax training course, which is unique because it's something that I've written and I present, and it's very, very practical. I would absolutely say there's nothing like it in the offshoring space at the moment. And we have a fantastic mid-year party. So we try to really engage the staff and also the clients. So we believe we do it a bit different. We're very, very easy to get onto, very approachable. So there's not thousands of seats. So if you need us, you can get us and we can help you.
So I'm just curious, Craig, what makes TRA different from other companies out there?
Other offshoring companies, well, the biggest difference is that I've done it. So, other offshoring companies, there's people who haven't done what I've done. So what happened was roughly 8 or 9 years ago, I decided to begin offshoring. And in that process, I worked out a way to not only make it a success, but also build a really good team and a really good culture. So from those learnings, which went on 8 or 9 years, our belief is, as TRA, that from those learnings that we can hold people's hands through the process. So we can teach them the key things that they need to do to make it a success. And as I say, the difference is if you're talking to me, you're not talking to a salesperson or someone that really hasn't done this before. So our experience is absolutely second to none. And that, coupled with my experience in quality standards and running an accounting practice, means that really, we are the offshore provider that you should be talking to. There is really nobody else that's done it the way we have.
Thank you so much, Craig.
All right, thank you.
Yep, and again, thank you so much again for joining us here at Table Talks. Again, I'm Andy, and thank you for watching. See you on the next episode. Bye.